Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Community Concerns, and I'm sitting down here with Tom Price. Mr. Price, who's a resident of Greater Sudbury. Well, he's in the far-flung regions of Greater Sudbury. We are, of course, as the first or second largest municipality, first in Ontario, second in Canada, I believe. We are large.
Area-wise.
Area-wise. And population, well, that's a question. I just was reading that we now have 194,000 people in Greater Sudbury. Now this is pretty terrific, because I guess just a couple of years ago, we were about 155, 160,000 or something, and then we jumped to 194. How is that possible?
Beats me. And when we were at 160,000, we didn't have enough housing.
No.
So where are these extra 30,000 people living?
We know we have a large number of foreign students who are in the community, due to both College Boreal, Laurentian, and Cambrian absorbing almost as many foreign students, or international students, I guess is the term, as they have domestic students. So that contributes to the number. But we have another census coming up, I believe.
I'm eagerly awaiting to see the results of that census.
Now, when you look at, there's also that we have the Greater Sudbury City, and then we have Sudbury District. So it depends on what figures you're quoting from either Sudbury itself or from the district.
Well, no, we have three.
Three.
We have Sudbury itself.
Right.
We have the metropolitan Sudbury, and then we have the Sudbury District. Now, our health unit covers the Sudbury District, which is the largest area.
Which includes Manitoulin as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The metropolitan area is included in that health thing, but the metropolitan area doesn't include any of the city proper services. Excuse me. For example, fire services are not included in the metropolitan area. Roads aren't included. They take care of their own. They're outside of the greater city of Sudbury. The greater city of Sudbury is about 36,000 square kilometers. Okay? Now, interestingly enough, that sounds like a pretty large city, but in defining the catchment area for our new event center, they defined a catchment area of 387,000 square kilometers, reaching all the way to Hudson Bay, 950 kilometers away. So I don't know where our influence lies and where our attractiveness comes from, that we would be a market area for that massive landmass. And by the way, that's 35% of the province of Ontario.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Whoa. Come on.
Well, obviously we need to be our own province.
Yeah, now there you go. And they cut the line at Sudbury, because when they defined the market area, there was no tourism from south of Sudbury included in our market area.
No.
So I don't know how all these people are going to get here. 75% of that market area has no roads.
Now, even if you look south, that 2-hour distance between ourselves and Parry Sound, it might as well be a wall.
Yes.
Because you just don't get that volume of tourists coming from south.
No.
Because, of course, they have the amenities down there, plus the fact that that distance barrier is something that really discourages people. Even though we do have a number of really attractive tourist venues, really, Science North, Dynamic Earth, if they really ran it properly, the Bell Rock Mansion and the Grotto I've taken people there from out of town, and they're really blown away. This is fantastic stuff. Plus, they love our rocks and our trees. Now we have more trees than ever before, and our lakes. This is a very attractive city. However, it's a little difficult to get here.
We're in a bad geographical location, to say the least, yes.
But so this is interesting how much money we spent on supposedly attracting tourists. I don't know what the really answer is. A few years ago, we had suggested that bus tours from Toronto and down south and other areas could come here, visit Science North, maybe take in a show, maybe go to the horse racing out at the slots in Chelmsford. Take a look at our lakes and all the physical attributes we have. Then head off to Manitoulin Island and then take the ferry back down south. So it is possible to do that sort of thing, but it doesn't seem like there's much courage or initiative. I think that we seem to be sort of on a treadmill that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And when it looks to industrial development, the fact is having the highest industrial and commercial tax rate of any community or municipality in Ontario is somewhat of a deterrent.
Yes and no. It doesn't need to be.
No.
It's the way we manage things. And your question about changing things, I think it was pretty well summed up by former councillor Robert Kerwin when talking about the downtown homeless and drug addiction and all that. He said, well, at the end of the discussions in council, he said, well, it's frustrating because we have everything we need to solve the problem except the will to do so. Mm-hmm. And that is true in so many aspects of Greater Sudbury.
Before we ask you that question, we said we would do it in our last episode, is that why are we involved? Why are we concerned? And before we ask you that question, just to go into the homeless aspect we know that other communities such as Peterborough, Kitchener, Waterloo, down east, out west in the States, they have looked at this particular situation and they have done what Finland has done, and that's providing housing to a certain extent. Here in Sudbury, we have the Lorraine Street project, but that's it's not, now it does provide housing, but it's for a certain segment that might be called transitional from the street to what you might call normal living. There's another segment who are never going to be, or it's going to take longer for them to get to that particular point. They just need something other than a tent to keep them sheltered, which other communities are doing. So it seems like there, once again, the question of, and that seems to be a magic number, 2030, that we're going to solve the homeless problem by 2030. It's going to cost us millions of dollars to do it. Yet other communities are doing it, or really almost on a shoestring, expense-wise, but we don't seem to be doing that. We seem to be, I don't know, there's 17 different agencies at a minimum who are supposedly looking after the homeless. Have we got too many cooks?
Well, there's several aspects to what you just discussed. And the first one, and probably the most important one, is that housing does not cure homelessness. Mm-hmm. There is a major, major difference between a home and a house. If you have housing and you put those people into their housing for the night, and then the next morning they leave and they have a different housing the next night,
right,
that's not home.
No.
They cannot make a home that way. Okay? So if we could wrap our minds around the fact that housing is not necessarily a home, that would be a big start. And when that person gets that housing unit that he can make or she can make a home there that they go to every night, that would make a major difference. And that they have control in.
Because right now, when you go, last couple of weeks I've gone downtown and going to my dentist office, and on most occasions I've discovered 15 or 20 people in that particular area, which is the corner of Elm Street and Elgin, near the Grand Theatre, and homeless people gathering in these areas, and to the point where my dental office has hired their own security guard to take their clients or patients in and out of the building and to where they might be parking because they don't feel safe. The dental office wants to move, by the way, along with the Scotiabank that's moved, the Bank of Montreal that's moved, the credit union that's moved, the National Bank that's moved, and most retail establishments have moved out of the downtown. Now, not just because of the homeless situation, but for economic reasons as well too. But a lot of them just, and you can't go to most establishments downtown without knocking on the door to let you in. So has this not somehow permeated the consciousness of those that have looked at other communities and realized it is possible to provide something for these people who are homeless in areas that are somewhat separate from the downtown?
It doesn't register on their radar. I've heard a number of 170 different organizations trying to deal with this problem, which is absolutely ludicrous. Okay. Then what do? We hire more bylaw people and the police to harass these people to move them out of wherever they've decided to make home.
Yeah.
And I mean home. I don't mean housing. Okay. Once they set up their tent, their little tent village, that is their home.
Yeah.
Okay. So we displace them from their home on a regular basis. We move them out. And incidentally, that violates the crimes against humanity portion of the UN Charter. It's a crime against humanity. You're not allowed to relocate them out of sight.
No, the court has said actually that they have the right to be in public areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't care about the courts. We don't care about the UN. We don't care about any of that. Get them out of sight.
Yeah.
Well, that is so inhumane, it goes beyond belief. And yet, the people who are trying to help these people cannot get that across to our administrators.
And in the meantime, the number of people who are willing to go downtown has dropped. I would like to see exactly how much revenue we're getting from our parking meters compared to what we received prior to this situation.
Well, there's an easier way to determine that. In the economic studies that we referenced about event centers in the last meeting, or the last taping, one of the things that they found, these economists found, was that it was easy to determine the economic impact of things by keeping track of the sales tax. Okay? If the sales tax in your community or your 2 blocks of the city is dropping, you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
If it's improving, you know that you're getting people coming in. They use that to determine how the event center was affecting the outer areas. And what they found was when you built a big event center, oh yeah, it looked as if it prospered, but the outer areas all suffered. Sales tax collection dropped.
Yeah.
They became poverty then. So in the overall health of the community, they found that there was no difference. In fact, if anything, it was worse. So apply that to the homeless situation. Okay? If the homeless are in that portion of the community, one would expect that the sales tax level would be low. Okay? If it isn't, then there's still people coming there. In the richer communities, you would expect the sales tax to be higher. Well, that's only if there's commercial enterprises in that richer community.
That's right.
Okay? If there's no enterprises there, theirs could be equally low for a different reason. But you need people who understand those differences.
We are become, and I've used the term, a strip mall community.
Yep.
We have, and I see a couple more strip malls are opening up as well too. So, and I was puzzled why someone would build a strip mall, an entrepreneur, a builder, developer, and then I noticed that the strip malls were booked before they were even completed.
Yep.
So a lot of the so-called central businesses have moved to strip malls because it's easy to get to. You can drive right up to the door. Would give whatever service it is, and at no cost, basically, and away you go. So this is probably one of the reasons for the demise of retail in the downtown area. But before we get any further, getting back to my question, which I said I would ask, why? And let's face it, we're old fellas. I'm older than you.
Yes, you are.
And not as old as our compatriot, Mr. Peach, Art Peach, who former architect, worked with OTOCI, so many buildings in town, and Art has been agonizing over what's happened, like we have. But he's older than we are.
Yes.
But we're aiming to reach his age level eventually, right? But at our age level, people say to us, why are you concerned? I mean, you're going to be not here in a few years, so this isn't really going to affect you. But speaking for myself, it's like planting a tree. If I plant a tree now, I'm not going to see it grows to its full height or whatever. But nevertheless, it's going to be there after.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is why I'm thinking that I'm concerned, that I want to make sure that whatever we do now is going to have a good effect or of some value in the future. But how about you?
Well, my reasons vary considerably from that. Due to my career, I have been given the opportunity, thankfully, by the company I work for, to experience a lot of different things in this world. And one of the things that I learned was that you build a knowledge base on what can be in every area where you go. So when I look at Sudbury, I've got a pretty good idea of what could be if we applied ourselves. The problem is I don't see anybody applying themselves to the health of the community. They apply themselves to their own individual pet project. The hockey thing, again, we'll keep coming back to that, because the people who are pushing the event center, the arena, they're looking to spend $400 and more million to create 1,100 additional seats. That's it. Yes, it's supposed to be 5,800 seats, but we already have the other seats. All they're going to get out of it is an additional 1,100. Now, where could that 400 to 500 million be better spent to improve our community than a few extra seats at a hockey game? Mm-hmm. I know what could be done in this city. I know what could happen to our road system. I know what could happen to our services. I know what could happen to our emergency response people, our fire halls, our ambulance stations, everything else. I've been there. I know what can happen. So it's incumbent on me then to try to make that betterment for the community. I've enjoyed this community for 50-some years. Mm-hmm. I owe it something. So my reason for objecting to what they're doing is let's put the money where it improves. And there's lots of room for improvement in our city.
Well, I know when I came here, and I've been here as long as you have, I believe, and you can see some real potential. Mm-hmm. And just in my little area of Mineral Lake, we saw potential there, and with our community partners here and with help from the city, mm-hmm. We've dipped them playgrounds, and we have parks, and we have things on our transportation we've improved. And, but this has been done, but it seems when we come to a bigger level, and especially looking at the so-called downtown area, which I'm not really sure, we have many downtowns within Greater Sudbury. I mean, Lively is a good example. There's almost a complete community. Chelmsford does, and even Coniston does.
The East.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are, thriving and I guess communities where most of the amenities are there. But it seems like downtown has gone in the opposite direction.
Yep.
maybe, and I know I've been outspoken about the fact that perhaps we should have really considered the location of the School of Architecture. That was caught up in a particular period of time where it's going to improve downtown if we establish this educational facility downtown, which made absolutely no sense when you have a campus a few kilometers away in a beautiful setting.
Yeah.
And then we had this, also the Place des Arts, which is a pretty good idea to bring all the French cultural organizations together. Is it a good idea to plank it right down in the middle of downtown?
And both of those are sitting right next door to the Transcontinental Main Line Railway.
Right.
That goes through several times a day, hauling 3-mile-long trains.
Yeah.
Can you imagine why anyone would choose that location? I can't.
Well, I think that, sometimes, as we mentioned in our last Civic Concerns episode, we talked about making stupid decisions. And it's possible for all of us to make stupid decisions. Absolutely. And you've got sort of, with the School of Architecture, this is the only spot we can have. We've researched other spots, and this is where it should be. And some of us said, well, maybe not that exact location where you're taking away over 200, 300 parking spaces. Maybe it should be someplace else. Maybe it should be on the campus where all the other educational facilities are. But, so sometimes you think you're in some sort of strange dream or nightmare, right, when it comes to some of these decisions. But here we are anyway. And as we said, we're definitely not going to be here forever. But some of the buildings that we have in Sudbury have been here since the early century. Some of them are early 1900 buildings, still functional, still operational. When we come to the arena, oh no, it's got to go. Got to go. So, and I asked this question, why and who is pushing it that hard? And I'm a little concerned about this business case. It's going to be developed to show the destruction of the arena. I say destruction. I think they're calling it
repurposing.
Repurposing, and actually the tearing down has got a different term. It's going to be. It's not destruction. It's.
Well, whenever one word isn't acceptable, they change the name of it. So. Yeah. You could have one word today, and tomorrow that will be.
Well, the old hospital is going to be no more. It's interesting. What could it have been? One of the interesting aspects about this is that I guess it's about 15 years now, if we go back, when Panorama managed to purchase the building from the sisters, and the city said at that time they were unable to contact Panorama. It was impossible. So in this very room where we're taping right now, John Rutherford, may he rest in peace, prominent downtown Sudbury business person, in this room, we phoned Panorama. We got through on the first call, and we talked to them. We said, what can we do with that building? And they said, well, we'd like to talk to the city about it. Maybe it could be a retirement home. Maybe it could be a nursing home. We can make it into a rental one, or we can do the condominiums or whatever, but we're open for that, right?
Yep.
And we're talking to the top people there at Panorama, which the city could not reach for some reason.
Yep.
So, and now, of course, we're sort of stuck in that. We paid Panorama $1.7 million to redevelop the Scotia Tower downtown into rental accommodations, which will be market accommodations, not for those who don't have the money.
Well, yeah, and you're bringing up another topic. We talk about housing and homes, and our city is all hung up on low-cost housing. Well, they aren't. What they are doing in order to address it is they're building more high-cost housing, subsidized to make it low cost to the people renting.
Right.
That means the rest of the city is paying the bill for that high-cost venue. That isn't low-cost housing. True low-cost housing is that you pay what it costs to build and maintain that building. That's low-cost housing. Not that someone's going to come in and subsidize the rent for it. All that is doing is feeding the developers. And boy, are we good at that.
I know, well, we have the sort of the situation in the KED, which is now called the Kingsway Employment District, where we have the city who is basically paying at least a third of the cost of the road into that particular facility. And we have the gateway casinos, which we don't know really what's going on there now with everybody gambling online, and we're looking at the experience in North Bay, which doesn't seem to be living up to the expectations. So we don't know what's really going on, but we have to be somewhat suspicious of when developers have very friendly relationships with your bureaucracy or your elected representatives. Frustrating, but we'll keep at it here with our little sessions, and for those of you who are interested, you can always get in touch with us. You can go to friendlysudbury.ca, and you can see Tom Price from friendlysudbury.ca. You can see me, and we have a number of our videos that are posted there, and of course you can contact us. Our phone numbers are out there, and we invite, and we've always invited, other members of the public and even councillors, the mayor, to talk to us about this. But it's very difficult to talk to them, because even when we go to them by former letters, registered letters on the part of Tom, or regular letters by myself, and what is the response we get? Well, Tom, what was your response?
They didn't.
Well, they didn't respond to a registered letter.
No.
And you're a citizen.
Yep.
Taxpayer.
Yep.
They did respond to me, and they said, no, we're not going to talk to you. So, I mean, and this is after a presentation was made to council saying that they were going to consult with the public.
Yep.
So we're obvious. Are we the public? I think I pay, business and home taxes, several tens of thousands of dollars a year.
In all fairness, psychology's analysis of why they don't respond says that they're unable to. They don't have the ability to respond technically or with social skills in order to communicate properly.
Well, there was a little show and tell about development in the downtown recently, and apparently questions were asked.
No answers, though. 20-some questions. They've never received any response whatsoever.
Yep. So we're grouchy old people? Well, to a certain extent. We're unhappy about certain developments. We're dissatisfied in the direction that things are going, and that's why we're going to continue to talk about it.
Oh, yes.
If you want to get in touch with us, please do. And until next time, bye for now.
Take care. Be careful who you trust.
You gotta include that.